Western Regional Director for the National Union of the Homeless, the President of the Sacramento Homeless Union, and the founder of a nonprofit called SACSOUP, which stands for Solidarity of Unhoused People. And my phone is First of all, I would personally like to thank residents of Camp Resolution. You guys have fought hard, you did it, and you're changing the narrative one movement at a time. I want to lift up my brothers and sisters at Wood Street, Oakland, California. And the rest of our folks who are being swept daily, who have come up with innovation ways of their own to solve homelessness and are not being heard. I want to thank the National Union of the Homeless, General Legal Counsel, Anthony for always clearing a path so those most impacted voices can be heard. I would like to thank Safe Ground Sacramento. Can you guys raise your hands? I'd like to thank Safe Ground Sacramento and their board for putting impacted voices at the forefront to the belief that housing is a human right and that it should be obtainable and possible for all people.
Thank you, Safe Ground.
I also want to thank the City of Sacramento, although we do go back and forth nonstop, and for many years. Thank you for giving us a chance to show that the unhoused community can come together and be a community until real-time resources and housing are available. Lastly, I would like, and this is probably not going to be the popular opinion, I'll tell you that right now. Lastly, I would like to thank Councilmember Sean Laloe for regularly coming out and engaging Camp Resolution and finding ways to strategize the overwhelming crisis in District 2. I want to make this very clear. Homelessness is not decreasing in other parts of Sacramento. It is being pushed into poor parts of town like District 2, which is this district. We appreciate the council member for understanding that we can't just keep pushing people in circles with no solutions. Thank you. All right, I'm not going to talk about the lease specifically. I'm talking about what's going on in Sacramento and across the state. The community has come with me with panic because they are seeing the term self-govern are part of Camp Resolution. Let me make it clear. We are all self-governed. We do not have to have a nonprofit following us around, telling us when we can use the restroom, when we can work, when we can eat, sleep, pray, or whatever we do, while being paid to do so. Being self-governed does not mean that we do not still follow the same laws, regulations that everybody else in the community follows. Save your money being babysitters and place in real-time services that people need. I'm going to let the members speak directly about the lease, but I do need to make some important comments. Homelessness is staggering, and we are potentially looking at tripling our point-in-time count in the homeless union's view. We need the community to understand approximately 20,000 people on any given night are living on our streets and dying on our streets. Sacramento's shelter space is non-existent in comparison to those numbers. While many in the community voted for Shelter and Enforcement Act, many do not realize the reality of Sacramento resourcing. The services to housing to off-the-streets infrastructure is completely broken and fragmented, as written in many reports. It often takes years and lists, and even more years to get them off these lists, including for rehabilitation, housing, Social Security, etc. In the meantime, people continue to be criminalized for waiting out the hoops and systems that they're being told to be compliant with. Camp Resolution offers a safe situation where people can triage from their location and service providers can work one-on-one with them, ultimately ending homelessness ending in housing, not shelter, sorry. The systems we currently have are band-aids on a bleed-out situation. We have needed to call in tourniquet solutions for years. This is really long, sorry guys. I want the community to understand the current up-to-date situation as of right now, this moment. 20,000 people are on our streets. Nearly 600 people are facing removal and are being removed currently from a local nonprofit shutting its doors. The Project Room Key that hosts unhoused individuals is closing in April. And lastly, SHRA has reported to the city that COVID rental money no longer is available. We have people 3 years behind in rent, now facing eviction. The reported numbers are 7,200 people. If they could not afford the rent, they most likely will not be able to move into another place and will end up on our streets. We also lack 120,000 units of affordable housing in Sacramento. The goal of Sacramento Homeless Union is to work in areas like Del Paso Heights, South Sacramento, to start truly and effectively strategizing serious focus on action, not words, on how to address and end homelessness with those directly impacted at the forefront of that fight. We will be organizing with the community to help end their community's homelessness. We will be working in partnership with the City of Sacramento and the community to locate resources for these individuals. We are here to say housing now, no more death on the street, end the stigma of homelessness, and let's work together and get it done, community.
Hi, I'm Joyce, and I'm the one that started this all. $617,000 for a fence, and you know, if you do the math on it, you could have housed all of the unhoused in Sacramento with that much money. If you sold one prison, you could house everybody unhoused in Sacramento. So, I'm not a lot of people here. Speak loud,
Got it.
Bring it
to that camera,
so,
all the way loud. Oh, loud.
So, Holly and Deborah, and my family, they're my sister-in-law, and we lived on the county side after they were swept from this side, from the city side. And the stress that went with Holly being in the situation she's in was taking a toll on both of the women. And so when they swept, I said, well, we have to figure something out before the first rain, because the year before, nobody helped. Even the fire department, they were there, they didn't even help. So, Wood Street people were coming, and so we said, well, let's host over here at the county side. But then I remembered, oh, hey, it's bigger over here at the parking lot. So we hosted them, they came, they went and talked to the folks at the state capitol, they went home, and then that was when it was our turn to make our move, to show that this is why we call it Camp Resolution, because we're resolving what the city can't do. And this is my wife, Sharon, 22 years.
Yeah!
I don't think I could have done it if I didn't have a little partner like this. And my family, I love you guys.
We love you.
We love you.
That's right. You are the one.
Yeah, and we just want to work with the city and our community. We don't want that stigma anymore that we've been placed on. You know, we already live in a fishbowl. We don't really want it. You know, I don't really know much more to say, but I'm going to hand this over to my daughter, Tammy.
Hi. This is Deborah. This is Holly's mother. Hi. Or Holly.
You?
So this all started as a vision, a dream, a goal that these two had to get housing for Holly, who, as you can see, she's quadriplegic. She can't care for herself. Her we as a community, close to her mother and Monica. Monica, where's Monica? And Monica, who takes care of her very well. They wanted to get her off of the river side because they were flooding them out and there was nowhere for her to go. There was times when the fire department was down there and we did ask them to assist us to bring her out of the floodwaters. They refused. They got back in their truck and drove off. So we weren't here for that call. The people that they were there for did say, no, go help her. Her niece is quadriplegic, she can't move, go help them. They got back in their truck and drove off. Left her out there in the floodwaters. That's sad. That shouldn't be happening in any community. I don't care what community it is. I don't care what state, what city, it shouldn't be happening anywhere. So then we just said, well, her mom came up with, man, she's been stressing out. What am I going to do with her? The winter's coming. I know it's going to be a bad winter. We need to get her off the riverside before it floods. That's when Sharon and Joyce came up with the idea, well, let's move her up to Colfax. They got her up here to Colfax, and then it became a big, big thing. Not only did Colfax make us a bunch of promises and unanswered phone calls, they put us on a bunch of lists and told us that if we moved to one side, they were going to pave one side, they were going to put tiny homes there, they were going to move us all over here, and this would be a safe spot for us to be. We were mostly women, so of course we want a safe space where we could be out. We don't want to be out on the streets where we're all dying, because there's a lot of women out there that are dying, being raped, being killed for nothing. For less than what the county could pay to get us into a home, into a hotel, anything, where we have shelter, where we're safe. So then it became, well, we're going to fight. So we did. not only did we do it solo, we did it as a team, as a union, as a group, as a community. We're family. We're not just ordinary I can't say we're not ordinary homeless people, because we are.
And we like to Safe Ground.
Yes, and we do want to thank Safe Ground for stepping up and having our backs. We appreciate that. Thank you very, very much.
What the other donators?
We also want to thank our lawyer,
And
Anthony, and the activists, all the activists. You guys have been there for us from step one. We were made a bunch of promises from the city and the state, and they never came through with the promises. I think that if we all have to be accountable and held accountable for our actions and what we say, so should they. That's where the fight began. Right. We went down to City Hall and we fought, and we just climbed the hill from there.
And we won!
And here we are
We're
now.
tired of having promissory hopes.
And here we are now. Holly's getting her housing.
What the intent of the city's supposed to do for us is ridiculous.
Holly's getting her housing, and we've all here done what the city, the state, and the county said they were going to do, couldn't do, and wouldn't do. We did it ourselves. Who are we? What are we here for? Housing! Thank you. Thank you guys all for coming this morning. We appreciate it. Holly, you want to say something? Deborah, you want to say something?
I want to say something.
This is Satara.
This is our security team right here.
There's our security. Baby daddy.
My name is Latria. I am the security here at Camp Resolution. And I just want to say this is an amazing place that we have here. I mean, even with each other's differences, because we have a lot of them. We stick together still for the most part, angry at each other or whatever. I mean, there's never a time when anybody's really in need of anything, because we have each other for the most part. I mean, well, of course we need a lot of things, but we'd be okay here. As opposed to everywhere else. I started to become homeless when I was 16 and my mother died, unfortunately, and I didn't know anything about the streets. I was very sheltered. There was countless nights I was scared to go to sleep because I didn't know what was going to happen. And, I can't watch around me while I'm sleeping, and it was in very scary places.
You don't have to now. We got you.
Yeah.
We are your family.
When I would set up a camp somewhere, I thought I would be okay there because they let us stay for a while or whatever. And as soon as I got comfortable there, well, not too comfortable, but comfortable enough, they came and they swept us. They make us move. They take all our stuff. They threatened to take my dog. I love my animals, and it wasn't right. I moved somewhere else thinking it was okay, and again, same thing happened time and time again. So it's constantly losing everything from the moves, and how am I supposed to get ahead? How am I supposed to try to do anything for myself if I have to keep losing everything and starting over and starting over? I mean, I have no problem working, okay? I love to work, actually. I have no problem, helping others and everything else, but I can't do the things I like to do because of everything else from the crap, So, but here's giving me a chance, really.
We love you.
I have more space and opportunity to grow. I feel safe. I can sleep every night. And I just, I really love it here. I love these people here.
We love you.
That's right.
Woo! And I appreciate you guys for coming.
Thank you.
And really showing some support here.
We save each other.
I'll just say something real fast. I just want to say something real fast. For me, my name's Satara Murphy. I do a little bit of everything, okay? If I see it needs to be done, I get it done.
That's right.
No questions asked. We pretty much work together to get everything done here. But I came here because Joyce seen me. I was under the bridge over there in my car with my dog, and it was hot. And I was trying to get to Oklahoma, but I couldn't, and I had to sell my car. So then me and my dog were in this trailer that was not okay at all whatsoever to live in at all. And she asked me if I wanted to come in the gate here and help take this back over. And I said, all right, I trust you. My baby daddy was in prison, and that was my first time ever being in the camping environment by myself, on my own. I had never camped before or been in a situation like this before, but my mom and my grandma and my auntie and my grandpa and like they all are regular known campers in the community here, and I used to just come out and come find them every now and then or whatever. But I ended up being in the same situation, and my mom moved to Oklahoma and she showed me how to camp, and showed me how to do it in a safe way, and she's always been like my protector or whatever, So with her being gone and I was scared, I didn't know what I was gonna do. I know my dog's gonna protect me, but I'm more worried about protecting him, And Joyce seen me, she said, we're gonna build a safe place to be, all of us. And I said, okay, I trust you, and I came. And since I've been here, we've been doing amazing things. We all stick together. We all help each other. We all look out for each other. I got 3 generations of me out here. So, and I'm born, bred, raised right here in the north side of Sacramento. I've never lived nowhere else, And I think that this is amazing. I mean, I've seen so much progress, even with all our differences, all of us coming from different levels of homelessness, all of us different backgrounds, different goals in life, you know what I mean? Completely different people, every last one of us. And we've come so far. We've made so much progress. We've moved things that we didn't think we would be able to. A lot of us didn't believe that we'd be able to do this. But we did it, and we stuck strong through it. That's right. Through all our differences, because it is not easy, y'all.
We gain hope.
But we get it done.
That's right.
Yes. I was fashionably late, as usual.
One last thing, we support all of us.
Can you get Congress to get along with each other? That's great.
All right, I'm going to introduce Mark Marin.
Hi folks, Mark Marin, Safe Ground, but
Hi Mark, welcome.
Welcome, Mark.
with me here, and I just want to recognize our several board members from Safe Ground. We have John France, one of the originals, 14 years living on the island, I believe, approximately. Paula Lamazzi, right over there, formerly homeless. One of the main people behind Homeward, the newspaper that's distributed. Kathleen Williams, who actually has Homeward right here. We have Sister Libby, who's not here today, but she is doing Mercy Peddlers, and she was formerly the executive director of Loaves and Fishes. Joe Smith, I believe is Project Hope, I'm not actually sure, but Hope Cooperative, okay. And Tina Reynolds, who's the proprietor of Uptown Studios, who works a lot with social movements, and she's a great resource. Tracy Rice Bailey, who also formerly homeless, wonderful resource, tremendous energy. Well, these people have been committed to assisting homeless organizations and advocating for a better deal for homeless people, and that means housing. And when this site, having been developed by the folks who introduced themselves, was going to be swept for maybe I don't know how many times, but they were going to be swept. Safe Ground stepped forward and said, that's crazy. Safe Ground as an organization, as a corporation that's been in existence for over a dozen years, can take this property as a lessor and just turn it over to the people. If you need a face to deal with, Safe Ground will be that face. But we are not the operators. The people who live here are the operators. And what's fantastic about the deal, we got a lease. What's fantastic about that lease is it provides that the people can stay here until permanent housing for every one of them. And they can also fill vacancies, which means that this can be a place through which people will move to gain permanent housing. And that is that's a great opportunity, and I would say that was negotiated by Anthony Prince over here, who's the general counsel for the homeless union. And, that's a great thing. Now what we have to do now is all these encampments that are on public property, various places, we have to get the city and the county to recognize that they too can be self-governing. They too can be a portal into permanent housing. and we can be pushing for a greater percentage of the budget that's available to be devoted for public housing. That's what we need. We need a new deal, a new concept, and it's people like this who are going to do it through their self-government and advocacy. So, cheers for Camp Resolution.
Women opposed, we give our whole heart.
And also, the residents here, we do want to see this be a transitional situation for permanent housing. We want to see that happen. I'm one of the people who are willing to stay and help people transition into
All right, with that, we're going to introduce Anthony Prince, who fought to have these voices be the people that create this lease and what happens here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, first of all, can we all join together and say the slogan of the homeless union, which is homeless, not helpless.
Homeless, not helpless. Homeless, not helpless.
All right. I want to say first of all, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Holly. I can't upstage Holly. That's for damn sure. First of all, I want to say. I want to thank the members of the media for coming out on a Saturday morning to cover this story. We're very much appreciative of that. And we'll take some questions. I think we'll take a few questions before we disperse. First of all, I want to say that today is April 1st, but we're not fooling. Last month was March, which is now known as Women's History Month, right? But you women are you're making history right here in the city of Sacramento, which is the capital city of the state of California, which is the 4th largest economy in the world and has the largest number of homeless people. This is ground zero, not just for California. This is ground zero for a national and international movement for housing for all. Am I right about that? When I first we first were asked in, there was problems with the way things were going, and what we saw is that the most important missing element that had to be put back into any agreement that the residents would support is that they were not going to be pushed to the side, that they were going to be intended beneficiaries of this agreement, and they are, and it's expressly provided in that lease. There's no way the days are over when other parties are going to make decisions for the homeless. If you can't see that, if you haven't got that lesson by what you just heard from these outstanding women, you need to go back to school, because that's the lesson. All right, I want to just a couple more things. First of all, I also want to say we are 3 days away from an anniversary which we should all take note of, and that is April 4th. I was there in 1968. Some of us were around when Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. And I think we know why Dr. King was assassinated, because he had moved to the point in his entire fight, his entire lifelong battle for justice, to realize that it had to be about human rights for all. And he put together the Poor People's Movement, and he brought together poor blacks and poor whites and poor Native Americans and Puerto Ricans and women and men for a unified movement. And brothers and sisters, that's why he was killed. You know that that's why he was killed, right? But today we lift up the baton from Dr. King. That's right. Am I right?
Yeah. That's right.
All right then. So we're happy to share with you the specific terms of this lease. Mark is absolutely correct. They cannot take this camp down until such time as every single person in this camp is provided with individual, durable, and permanent housing. And housing does not mean some shelter where there's 1,000 people all congregated together. It does not mean a pop-up tent encampment. It does not mean a sidewalk. It does not mean a street corner. It means a durable place to live like a human being. You know what I'm trying to say?
We're done with the lies.
That's right.
Done.
So I'll just close by saying that let's be vigilant. Let's be vigilant. We're feeling good. We're celebrating. But let's not forget what Crystal told us, which is at this minute, at this moment, these police are conducting sweeps. You got county officials conducting sweeps. You got thousands of people being pushed from one dangerous place to another dangerous place. And you guys, we know that at least 2/3 of the people here, we got declarations going back 3 years from some of you guys, pushed from camp to camp to camp. And they say, we're not moving anymore. It was a sit-down strike is what happened over here. We're not moving one more time, and that was why it was Camp Resolution. We're resolved not to be kicked out any further until we get some actual housing. So let's stay together, let's be vigilant. This is going to be a self-governed community, I guarantee you that. They're not going to march in here and tell us what to do. They're going to sit at the table, they're going to meet with these women and their elected representatives from the Residents' Council and the union, and we're going to get this thing done. Thank you for inspiring us. Thank you for setting a model and example for homeless people across the United States of America. We're going to build an alliance with people in this community. They're not going to split us up because we know they're struggling with housing. It's a working class community, am I right? They're not going to divide us. We know they're struggling to pay the rent and make the house note and keep a roof over their heads. No way, they're not going to divide us up. We're going to affirmatively get out there and say, we're together. We have the same class interests as working class people trying to get some housing, right? Am I right about that?
That's right.
Okay, thank you, brothers and sisters. It's been speaking personally, it's been an honor and a privilege to be brought into this process, and I ain't going nowhere now, and I hope I can continue to do what the union was created to do. All right, now, okay,
Thank you.
I don't know who all gonna see this, right? But I just want to tell my grandma, I love you, grandma. Yes, I told you, you was right, baby. We did it. We did it. The night before we went to City Hall, I asked my grandma if I should do this with them, and my grandma said, "Why not, baby? We might fuck around and make history."
We've got two more things really quickly. That's right. We got two more things super quickly. I'm going to let Kathleen quickly talk about the Homer Journal, which is a street media paper. I'm going to go first, though. You can end it. I want to make our local media here in Sacramento aware that they are